נמל אודסה, אפריל 1913. צוות הסרטה קטן בהנהלת איש עסקים ציוני נוח סוקולובסקי מהעיר הולטה בפלא חרסון והצלם אוסיף מרון גרוסמן עולים על אוניית קיטור המפליגה לארץ ישראל. את הסרט שיצלמו בארץ הקודש הם מתעתדים להציג כעבור 4 חודשים בקונגרס הציוני ה-11 שיערך בווינה. האונייה עוזבת את נמל אודסה בכל שבוע ביום שבת בשעה 4 אחר הצהריים. הנוסעים יגיעו ליפו כעבור 11 יום ליציאתם. מחיר המסע 22 רובל. באונייה הרוסית המפליגה מאודסה נוסעים לארץ ישראל על ידי לשכת המודיעין של הוועד האודסאי לחובבי ציון 92 איש. מטרת נסיעתם 8 נסעו ללמוד בבתי ספר שונים, 3 הפליגו לצורכי רפואה, 12 לעבוד במושבות ובחוות בתור פועלים, 2 משפחות המונות 19 נפש עולות לארץ ישראל במטרה להיות לאיכרים. 44 נוסעים על פי קריאת קרוביהם ו20 נוסעים לזמן החגים. ביום שני בבוקר האונייה תעגון בקונסטנטינופול ותעמוד שם עד יום שלישי ב5 אחר הצהריים. בהפלגה תחנות רבות. האונייה עוגנת בדרדנלים, באזמיר, בסאקיס ובאלכסנדריה. שם ירדו הנוסעים ויעלו על אונייה אחרת שתפליג לפורט סעיד וליפו. האחדות, ביטאונם של פועלי ציון, מלווה את הסרט של סוקולובסקי בפיליטון עוקצני. רצו הציונים להראות לפני תבל ומלואה כי ישנם חיים בארץ התחייה, ויזמינו אלינו את הקינמטוגרף, ועכשיו נגאלנו. אדרבה ואדרבה, יראו שונאינו ומתנגדנו וכלימה תכסה את פניהם. הקינמטוגרף עובד והכל חי, הכל מתנועע. המורה הצעיר והאידיאליסטן מרוסיה בא להיות פועל. הפועל הארצי ישראלי נעשה לעיקר, והעיקר הולך ונעשה לסטודנט ומורה. גלגל חוזר בעולם. והקינמטוגרף, נאמן המציאות, עומד בתוך התנועה הזאת. וכל זעזוע קל, כל נדנוד, כל סרטוט, הכל מתרשם בו. הפנינה של ארץ ישראל היא תל אביב, העיר העברית הראשונה ההולכת ונבנית בחולות. שכונת נווה צדק גדלה ומתרחבת. לפני 4 שנים היו כאן כ10 בתים, ועתה הרחובות נמשכים, פונים אילך ואילך, ובתים למאות ממלאים את חולות הזהב שעל שפת הים. שדרות רוטשילד רחבות, ארוכות ושקטות. זהו המרכז השלב של העיר העברית הראשונה. במרכז השדרה עומד קיוסק קטן ומציע משקה מרווה בימים החמים של תל אביב. הבניין הבולט ביותר בתל אביב הוא גימנסיה הרצליה. זרם התלמידים הבאים מרוסיה היה גדול מאוד השנה, ומספר הלומדים בגימנסיה עלה ליותר מ-500. מקום לבנות לא חסר. האספה הכללית של חברה חדשה ביפו אישרה את התוכנית לחלוקת 110 מגרשים. מ2 פרנקים עד 4.5.
Beirut, 1974. A passionate crowd of Arabs gathers for the funeral of one of their former leaders. Mohammed al-Husseini's story is rooted in the period in the Middle East between the First and Second World Wars.
All right, enough of that. All right. Oh, shit. If the stream is blocked, let me know, because what I just played was somehow... If something happens, let me know. But what I did want to bring to you today is a... what would I call it? It's a slideshow, like a PowerPoint. Let me show you what it looks like. If I can find it. I think there it is. Yeah, there it is. So this is the lecture you are going to get from Sydney Winston, all of you. You couldn't have picked a better day for this. Okay, so let me find it. See if I can. Here we go. So basically, this is a PowerPoint presentation entitled "This Land is My Land," the mandate for Palestine, the legal aspect of Jewish rights. The presentation was put together by Eli E. Hertz, and the website is mythsandfacts.org if you're interested in having a look at it. I'm going to be using that website a lot in my episodes concerning Zionism, Israel, stuff like that. So, what's the best way to do this? I should just start reading. What do you think? Bill, you came to the rescue again. I my record is intact. I started a little segment during my episode, muted. How bizarre, how bizarre. Thank you, Bill. So, let me start again, I guess, huh? You guys making me start again? All right. All right, so what we have, there we go. Okay, so what we have here is a PowerPoint presentation called This Land is My Land. It's about the mandate for Palestine, the legal aspects of Jewish rights, and it's written by Eli E. Hertz, and I suggest his website is called mythsandfacts.org. I will be accessing this website quite a bit because pretty much everything I need to know or to present about the justification for Israel is all there. This one, as I say, is a PowerPoint presentation. So let's get started. You don't need me to be there because I'll just get in the way. All right, so let's go. All right, so the first slide, there's a question. Why, during the years 1917 to 1947, thousands of Jews packed the little they had and headed to a place called Palestine? The majority did so because they heard that a future national home for the Jewish people is being recreated in their ancient homeland of Palestine. Okay, so here's a picture of all those, of some of those Jews who came to Palestine, and they are a pretty pitiful looking lot. What is Palestine? Have you ever asked what is Palestine? Have you? Ever? Okay, what is Palestine? Palestine is a geographical area. It is not a nationality, not a state, nor a country. A report by His Majesty's government in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland to the Council of the League of Nations on the administration of Palestine and Transjordan for the year 1938. All right. So the borders of Palestine are as such. There's the northern border from Ras en Nakura on the Mediterranean eastwards to a point west of Kadas, thence in a northerly direction to Metula, thence east to a point west of Banyas. East from Banyas in a southerly direction east of Lake Hula to Jizr Banat Yapob, thence along a line east of the Jordan and the Lake of Tiberias and on to El Ham station on the Samach Dera railway line. Thence along the center of the river Yarmouk to its confluence with the Jordan. Thence along the centers of the Jordan, the Dead Sea and the Wadi Arabah to a point on the Gulf of Aqaba 2 miles west of the town of Aqaba, thence along the shore of the Gulf of Aqaba to Ras Jabba. South from Ras Jabba in a generally northwesterly direction to the junction of the Neki Aqaba and Gaza Aqaba roads, thence to a point west-northwest of Ain Maghara, and thence to a point on the Mediterranean coast northwest of Rafah, and to the west, the Mediterranean Sea. Got it? So, if you're looking at the map in white, that is Jewish Palestine as of the year 1938. Okay. What is the mandate? Have you ever asked yourself, what exactly is the mandate? Well, the mandate for Palestine and the British mandate. The mandate is a trust. The mandate for Palestine is a trust. It is a legally binding document published by the League of Nations on July 24th, 1922. The trust will expire only when all of its terms and conditions are met. The trustee is the British mandate. The British mandate is a trustee known also as the mandatory. Now, Great Britain was entrusted by the League of Nations with the responsibility to administer the area of Palestine in accordance with the provisions of the Articles of the Mandate for Palestine. Terminology with heritage. Preamble to the mandate says recognition to the historical connection of the Jewish people with Palestine. A report of the High Commissioner from 1920 to 1925 mentions the redemption of Palestine. Again, more preamble to the mandate, reconstituting their national home in that country, Palestine. The U.S. Congress of 1922 mentions the recreation of Palestine as the national home of the Jewish race. And the U.S. Congress again in 1922 mentioned the rebuilding of their ancient homeland in connection to the Jews and the Jewish people. The most significant events in modern history leading to the creation of the Jewish national home. There are four of them. Number one, the founding of modern Zionism by Theodor Herzl. He lived from May 2nd, 1860 until July 3rd, 1904. Number two was the actual Balfour Declaration by the British Foreign Office on November 2, 1917. Then number three, we have the San Remo Conference out of San Remo, Italy on April 25th, 1920. And fourth, the Mandate for Palestine, issued by the League of Nations, done at London, the 24th day of July, 1922. At the First Congress of Basel, Switzerland, in 1897, Theodor Herzl, that is, had this to say, quote, "Oppression and persecution cannot exterminate us. No nation on earth has survived such struggles and sufferings as we have gone through. Palestine is our ever memorable historic home. The very name of Palestine would attract our people with a force of marvelous potency. The idea which I have developed in this pamphlet is a very old one. It is the restoration of the Jewish state." Unquote. Okay, finally, the document itself, the Balfour Declaration, made on November the 2nd, 1917. I'm going to read that. I'm going to actually read that. This letter was sent by Lord Balfour, Arthur Balfour. He was the foreign minister, I believe, of England, of Britain. Yeah, the Foreign Office. He was the foreign minister, and Lord Rothschild was the leader of the Jewish community in the United Kingdom, in England, or I guess in the United Kingdom. He was part of at the time, a banker, his family banker in his Rothschild as a representative of his Rothschild's legacy and business, etc., etc., etc. So this again, the letter was written by the Foreign Office on the November the 2nd, 1917, and it says, "Dear Lord Rothschild, I have much pleasure in conveying to you, on behalf of His Majesty's government, the following declaration of sympathy with Jewish Zionist aspirations, which has been submitted to and approved by the Cabinet. His Majesty's government view with favor the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people, and will use their best endeavors to facilitate the achievement of this object, it being clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine, or the rights and political status enjoyed by Jews in any other country. I should be grateful if you would bring this declaration to the knowledge of the Zionist Federation." Signed by Arthur James Balfour, the British Foreign Office, November 2nd, 1917. And there's a couple of standout points here which they've they have put on the sidebar here. His Majesty's government view with favor the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people. The victory of the Allied powers opened the way for a larger scale of Jews returning to Palestine. Okay, one quote and one statement. I'll read that one again. The victory of the Allied powers, that's Britain, the United States, etc., opened the way for a larger scale of Jews returning to Palestine, as promised by the Balfour Declaration in 1917. So let's have a look at the Ottoman Empire. The Allied powers who granted, I guess they were the League of Nations at the time, with the UK, the United States, France, Italy, and Japan. And no, they were not oh, hold on a second. No, that is not true, because I know the United States wasn't part of the League of Nations. So the Allied powers who beat the Ottoman Empire in 1917 consisted of the United Kingdom, the United States, France, Italy, and Japan. So here's a map, the map of Eurasia, 1914, the Ottoman Empire and Turkish rail system. So everything you see in the brown color is Ottoman Empire. Everything you see. And the Ottoman Empire actually collapsed at this time. In the red circle, you can see in the red circle, can you not? Select area. How about, that's not the one I want. No, that's not the one I want. Oops, sorry. Okay, I just want to zoom in here for you. Okay, you see here? You see? Oh, shit. Hang on a second. I'll figure this out. Oh, there we go. Okay, so you see here, this here is essentially all of Palestine, that the mandate that was given to the British as the mandate for Palestine, all of that area. Okay? Let me just return to normal. I think that is normal there. Okay, there we go. Next, we have the San Remo conference at the Villa Divanche in San Remo, Italy, on April the 19th through 26th, 1920. Participating powers were United Kingdom, France, Italy, and Japan. And what did they come up with? Let's see. So that was the birth of the League of Nations. I see. And that's why I said the US is excluded. So in Geneva on January the 10th, 1920, the members of the League of Nations pledged not to go to war, to submit disputes to arbitration, and to keep friendly relations among nations. Isn't that cute? That's special. So, in San Remo, Italy, April 24th, 1920, the mandate for Palestine was discussed. The map of Palestine, as you can see in white, shows the boundaries of the land in which the Jewish national home was to be reconstituted. So that is all of Palestine that the British had the mandate for, and it was understood that this was the future home of the Jewish national for the Jews, the future land, the boundaries of which constitute the Jewish national home. Are we clear here? Because I don't want to... Alright, so I don't want there to be any misunderstanding, okay? What you're looking at here is the full map of Palestine, which was granted to the Jews for their Jewish national home. That's a lot of land. That's 120,466 square kilometers. Remember these figures. 120,466 square kilometers for the Jews. Here you go, says England, says Britain. Here is your Palestine. Okay? All right. Okay, let me read this to you. On July 24th, 1922, 51 member countries, the entire League of Nations, unanimously declared, quote, recognition has thereby been given to the historical connection of the Jewish people with Palestine and to the grounds for reconstituting their national home in that country. End quote. Here are the countries, the names of the countries that shared in this unanimous declaration. We have Albania, Argentina, Australia, Austria, Belgium, Bolivia, Brazil, British India, Bulgaria, Canada, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, Cuba, Czechoslovakia, Denmark, El Salvador, Estonia, Finland, France, Greece, Guatemala, Haiti, Honduras, Italy, Japan, Kingdom of Serbs, Croats, and Slovenes, Latvia, Liberia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Netherlands, New Zealand, Nicaragua, Norway, Panama, Paraguay, Persia, Peru, Poland, Portugal, Republic of China, Romania, Siam, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Union of South Africa, United Kingdom, Uruguay, Venezuela. The entire League of Nations. Again, July 24th, 1922, Mandate for Palestine document consists of 28 articles. I'm going to read this cover to you. The League of Nations Mandate for Palestine, together with a note by the Secretary General relating to its application to the territory known as Transjordan, under the provisions of Article 25, presented to Parliament by command of His Majesty, December 1922. So what's this? What is this Article 25? Mandate for Palestine, where Jews cannot live. Article 25 of the Mandate for Palestine, entitled the mandatory, which is the United Kingdom, to change the names of the mandate in the territory east of the Jordan River. Great Britain exercised the option provided by Article 25, cutting away 77% of the land originally earmarked for the Jews and gave it to Jordan. So this area here in white, covered under Article 25, was stripped from the boundaries of the future Jewish national home and given to Jordan as part, and it was called Transjordan at this particular time. The final territory in which the Jewish national home is to be rebuilt. Now, this was revised on July 24th, 1922. The map showing the area of Transjordan, in which the reconstitution of the Jewish national home was to be postponed or withheld. The territory of Jewish Palestine has been reduced by 77% of the original mandate. So here we have a situation in 1922 where the map has changed. We have to the east of the Jordan River, we have Transjordan or Arab Palestine. Let's just call it Arab Palestine for now, because that's what it really is. They've drawn a line, the Jordan River. Arab Palestine is to the east of the Jordan River. You will note that all of the white part is called Jewish Palestine. All of it. That is Jewish Palestine. To the east of the Jordan River is Arab Palestine. This situation, let me add that this situation was actually resolved in 1922, almost 100 years ago. There's Jewish Palestine, as you can see on the map, and there is Arab Palestine, as you can see on the map. In other words, Israel in white and Palestine, if you will, in the brown or in the tan or the beige or whatever the hell color it is. So I want to reiterate, the land that was the land east of the Jordan River, which was given to Arab Palestine, measured 92,300 square kilometers. What was left for Jewish Palestine measured 28,166 square kilometers. So the Jewish national home lost 77% of its territory in 1922. But nevertheless, the Jewish national home is to be rebuilt in Jewish Palestine. Beautiful solution. Let's get building. Ba, 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 bang, 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 hammer, 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 you know? Farm, farm, farm. So, here we see now. Okay. Land divided by the mandate system. Jews, 3%. Arab, 97%. When you take into account all the mandates, there's the mandate for Syria given to the French, the mandate for Iraq given to the British, and the mandate for Palestine given to the British. And all that's left for the Jews is that part in yellow, which is Israel. That's Jewish Palestine. The source of this, by the way, if you look, oh, you can see. Look at this. I'm going to show you something. The source for this information, if you look down, here, the source is the CIA from 2011. Oops, wrong way, man. Just trying to get back to it. Okay, so the total Jewish land is 22,072 square kilometers. Lebanon gets 10,400 square kilometers. Syria gets 185,180 square kilometers. Iraq, holy crap, they get 438,317 square kilometers, and Jordan gets 89,342 square kilometers. So the total Jewish land is 22,072 square kilometers, and the total Arab land is 723,239 square kilometers. Okay. Now, Winston Churchill, in June of 1922, was the British Secretary of State for the colonies. And a June 1922 letter from the British Secretary of State for the colonies, Winston Churchill, reiterated that the Balfour Declaration of 1917 was reaffirmed by the Conference of the Principal Allied Powers at San Remo and again in the Treaty of Sèvres. The Jewish people is in Palestine as a right and not on sufferance. That is the reason why it is necessary that the existence of a Jewish national home in Palestine should be internationally guaranteed, and that it should be formally recognized to rest upon ancient historical connection. Okay? Now, before local Jews began calling themselves Israelis in 1948, the term Palestine applied almost exclusively to institutions founded by Jews. For example, the Jerusalem Post, founded in 1932, was called the Palestine Post. Bank Leumi LeIsrael, incorporated in 1902, was called the Anglo-Palestine Company until 1948. Today's Israel Electric Corporation, founded in 1923 by Pinchas Rutenberg, was originally called the Palestine Electric Company. And today's Israel Philharmonic Orchestra, founded in 1936, was originally called the Palestine Symphony Orchestra. Now, the United States and the mandate for Palestine. The United States Congress had something to say. Throughout United States history, U.S. presidents supported the establishment of a national Jewish home in Palestine. For example, President Woodrow Wilson, on March the 3rd, 1919, he wrote, "I am persuaded that the Allied nations, with the fullest concurrence of our own government and people, are agreed that in Palestine shall be laid the foundation of a Jewish commonwealth. And President Warren G. Harding, September 21, 1922, he signed the Lodge Fish Joint Resolution of approval to establish a Jewish homeland in Palestine. President Calvin Coolidge, on December 3, 1924, he signed the convention, the treaty between the UK and the US, calling to safeguard the American interests in Palestine. The convention incorporated the complete text of the Mandate for Palestine, including the preamble. And President Herbert Hoover, October 29, 1932, he writes, "On the occasion of your celebration of the 15th anniversary of the Balfour Declaration, which received the unanimous approval of both houses of Congress by the adoption of the Lodge Fish Resolution in 1922, I wish to express the hope that the ideal of the establishment of the National Jewish Home in Palestine, as embodied in that declaration, will continue to prosper for the good of all the people inhabiting the Holy Land." From the Congressional Record, on June the 30th, 1922, a joint resolution of both houses of Congress of the United States unanimously resolved, favoring the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people. That's in the Congressional Record. In July 1922, the U.S. House of Representatives discussed the Resolution 322. So discussing Resolution 322, Representative Walter M. Chandler from New York expresses his views upon the Arab question in Palestine. 1. That the Arabs shall be permitted to remain in Palestine under Jewish government and domination, and with their civil and religious rights guaranteed to them through the British Mandate and under terms of the Balfour Declaration. 2. That if they will not consent to Jewish government and domination, they shall be required to sell their lands at a just valuation and retire into the Arab territory which has been assigned to them by the League of Nations in the general reconstruction of the countries of the East. And number 3, that if they will not consent to Jewish government and domination under conditions of right and justice, or to sell their lands at a just valuation and to retire into their own countries, they shall be driven from Palestine by force. All right, I'm learning something that I didn't know. So let me see here. Okay, so let's see. Let me go and have a look at these. Number 1, that the Arabs shall be permitted to remain in Palestine under Jewish government and domination, and with their civil and religious rights guaranteed to them through the British Mandate and under terms of the British Declaration. That seems just quite fair, actually. I don't see anything wrong with it. I never knew about number 2. United States Congress. That if the Arabs will not consent to Jewish government and domination, they shall be required to sell their lands at a just valuation and retire into the Arab territory which has been assigned to them by the League of Nations in the general reconstruction of the countries of the East. It's quite clear. If the Arabs in the Jewish Palestine did not want to live under Jewish rule, they were to move to Arab Palestine. Simple. They just moved to Arab Palestine. Number 3, I didn't quite understand this. Okay. That if the Arabs will not consent to Jewish government and domination under conditions of right and justice, or they do not consent to sell their lands at a just valuation and to retire in their own countries, they shall be driven from Palestine by force. All right, so here we have it. In 1922, it was understood that Jewish Palestine was for the Jews. If the Arabs didn't want to live there, they were quite welcome to sell their property at market value and go across the river to Palestine, to Arab Palestine. Okay, we're learning something here. December 3rd, 1924. There's a convention between the United States and the UK. The US government claimed on November the 20th, 1920, that the participation of the United States in World War I entitled it to be consulted as to the terms of the mandate. The British government agreed, and the outcome was an agreement calling to safeguard the American interests in Palestine. It concluded with a convention between the United Kingdom and the United States of America, signed on December 3rd, 1924. It is imperative to note that the convention incorporated the complete text of the Mandate for Palestine, including the preamble. On April the 26th, 1946, we approached the demise of the League of Nations. The League of Nations failed to secure peace. Assets, rights, and obligations were all transferred to the United Nations. 1946. The Charter of the United Nations came into force on October 24th, 1945, in San Francisco, California. Here's the picture, the photo. The United Nations General Assembly convenes its first meeting in Lake Success, Flushing Meadows, New York, November the 19th, 1946. That's the United Nations General Assembly first meeting. So, the Mandate for Palestine, which is valid to this day, there are some excerpts. Article 27 of the Mandate for Palestine document states that consent of the Council of the League of Nations is required for any modification of the terms. No such consent was ever passed. Article 80 of the UN Charter recognizes the continued validity of the rights granted to all states or peoples or already existing international instruments, including those adopted by the League of Nations, such as the Mandate for Palestine. The International Court of Justice, the ICJ, has consistently recognized that the mandate survived the demise of the League of Nations. The ICJ Advisory Opinions, July 11th, 1950, June 21, 1971, and July 9, 2004. The lobbyists that made Article 80 part of the UN Charter. What's Article 80 again? Oh, okay. Article, all right. We just read that. So, this is a statement made by Professor Eugene Rostow. He says, a strong Jewish delegation attended the Jewish delegation attended the San Francisco Conference 25 April through 26 June 1945. Rabbi Stephen S. Wise, Peter Bergson, Eliyahu Elath, Professors Ben Zion Netanyahu and A.S. Yehuda and Harry Seldon were among the Jewish representatives. Their mission was to protect the Jewish right of settlement in Palestine under the mandate against erosion in a world of ambitious states. Article 80 was the result of their efforts. Okay, that explains Article 80. Thank you. So, November 29th, 1947 comes around. And wouldn't you know it, but they would come up with a partition plan. A partition plan. It was as a result of the United Nations General Assembly Resolution 181. And the United Nations Resolution 181 recommended to partition the remaining 23% of Jewish Palestine into a Jewish state and an Arab state, not a Palestinian state. We already have Palestine on the east of the Jordan, remember? They called the Jordan, why didn't they call it Palestine? End of story. Arab Palestine. The Jews actually accepted the recommendation. That's so the partition, so that you can tell the difference here, is that the white part on the map is Jewish Palestine, and the dark part on the map is Arab Palestine, and the big black Rorschach in the middle there is international. That's where Jerusalem is. So Jews accepted the recommendation. Palestinian Arabs and their Arab brethren in neighboring countries rejected it, promising to defy its implementation by force. As such, Resolution 181 lost its validity and relevance. So yeah, the Arabs still had a chance of getting a Palestine of some sort at this point, although they should have just jumped at Jordan, said, hey, why didn't the Arabs go to war with the king of Jordan to get Palestine as their land? What the hell? They missed chance after chance after chance. Opportunities abounded, but they did not take one of them. Now, as I mentioned before, the Rorschach blotch, where Jerusalem is on that map. So, with regard to Jerusalem and the holy places, Professor Judge Elihu Lauterpacht explains how Jerusalem is not mentioned in the mandate for Palestine, yet the holy places are. And this in itself is relevant, for it shows that in 1922 there was no interest to identify the question of the holy places with internationalizing Jerusalem. Jerusalem, the spiritual, political, and historical capital of the Jewish people, has served and still serves as the political capital of only one nation, the one belonging to the Jewish people. That speech, that excerpt, was by Professor Elihu Lauterpacht regarding Jerusalem and the holy places, and it was published in October 1968. Article 2 of the Mandate for Palestine regarding political rights. Here it is. The mandate shall be responsible for placing the country under such political, administrative, and economic conditions as will secure the establishment of the Jewish national home, as laid down in the preamble, and the development of self-governing institutions, and also for safeguarding the civil and religious rights of all the inhabitants of Palestine, irrespective of race and religion. The political rights in Palestine were granted to Jews only. For the Jews, they had religious rights, they had civil rights, and they had political rights. For the other inhabitants, they had religious rights and they had civil rights. Political rights to self-determination as a polity for Arabs were guaranteed by the same League of Nations in 4 other mandates. Under the French mandate, Lebanon and Syria, and under the British mandate, Iraq and Transjordan. Now remember that Transjordan was originally part of the Jewish national, was originally the borders inside the Jewish national homeland. But San Remo came along and chop chop. But the Arabs have political rights in Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, and Transjordan, just not in Jewish Palestine. I love that. Article 5 of the Mandate for Palestine. The territory of Palestine was assigned exclusively for the Jewish national home. No foreign power allowed in Palestine. Quote, the mandatory, being the United Kingdom, the mandatory shall be responsible for seeing that no Palestine territory shall be ceded or leased to or in any way placed under the control of the government of any foreign power. Article 6. Jewish settlements, therefore, are legal. Where Jews are permitted and encouraged to settle, the administration of Palestine shall encourage close settlement by Jews on the land, including state land and wasteland not required for public purpose. Article 6. The Jewish rights to Palestine were internationally guaranteed. The most senior official of the Mandate for Palestine, the High Commissioner for Palestine, underscored how international guarantees for the existence of a Jewish national home in Palestine were achieved. The Balfour Declaration was endorsed at the time by several of the Allied governments. It was reaffirmed by the Conference of the Principal Allied Powers at San Remo in 1920. It was subsequently endorsed by unanimous resolutions of both houses of the Congress of the United States. It was embodied in the Mandate for Palestine approved by the League of Nations in 1922. It was declared in a formal statement of policy issued by the Colonial Secretary in the same year, not to be susceptible of change. The policy was fixed and internationally guaranteed, end quote. We get to May 14th, 1948, Israel's Declaration of Independence. On May 14th, 1948, the Jewish People's Council gathered in Tel Aviv, declaring the establishment of the State of Israel. I am so proud of them. Why? During the years 1917 to 1947, thousands of Jews packed the little they had and headed to a place called Palestine. The majority did so because they heard that a future national home for the Jewish people is being recreated in the ancient homeland of Palestine. And yes, on, when was it? May the 14th, 1948, that's exactly what happened. This concludes the presentation of This Land is Our Land. At the end here, these some of the sources used in the study. I'm going to leave it here in case you want to take a snapshot of it maybe, or freeze it and read it at a later stage. Okay. All right, so there you go. That was my presentation of Palestine. I'm going to go now and do something that I regularly never do, and that's check the chat. There's 2 people currently viewing. I don't think this was the most interesting topic for people, but I needed to get it out. I really needed to say my piece on this one. Okay. How is this possible? Oh, that's how. All right. Okay. Let me have a look. Oh, Bill, you're the only one left, I think. Do you think it would be worth opening up a room then? Just considering that there's no one really interested. Maybe I'll... Jews are wonderful, intelligent, and good cooks. Well, I'm wonderful. I'm a good cook. I'm not so sure about the intelligent. Not much to see here. Yeah, you're right. So I could call it I could call it a day. I could open up a room, or I could call it a day. Make lunch. Sorry, make dinner. Have something to eat. Come back later. Open up a room, just a room, like just an open room. See if anybody would be interested in that. That's what I think I should do. All right. So thank you so much, Bill. Your support is ever so appreciated. So thank you again. I'm going to fade out with some music. See you soon.